Hey everyone, welcome to POPXP. And before the show starts, make sure to click that subscribe button and click the bell to get notifications when we go live and we upload awesome new content. And don't forget, if you can, make sure to share our stream on all your social media outlets. We appreciate it, and thanks for helping us grow the POPXP channel. Hey, what is going on YouTube? It's the brain of the mainframe here, the POPXP Paranormal, and welcoming all of you in the horrors of the YouTube land to join me and HC Knoll for another exciting episode. And Howie, my friend, how have you been?
I'm here. I'm alive, and that's as much as anyone can ask of me.
And you're the master of the universe.
I am showing my love of He-Man and my love always of The Shining.
Always of
The
Shining.
Yes. So I'm excited for this week. I got a very good friend being our guest, Greg O'Brien. I'm very excited to have him on the show, and we're also starting a new segment. We're really up in the game.
We are in that slow evolution, right?
Yeah.
We're just starting to find ourselves.
We're like little babies.
Yeah, we're like little babies. We're walking and wobbling.
We're learning to walk. Right now, we're crawling and drooling all over ourselves. And eventually, our audience is going to be so proud because one day they'll be like, now they're rubbing their feces on the wall.
Yeah.
And you know what?
They made a picture
and save it because it's going to be beautiful.
They made it to the big time.
Look at them.
They did it. But yeah, man, it's great. So, we're going to start getting into a little more paranormal news before we get into our guests and talk about, the theme of this show, which for today's show, we're going to be talking, Fort Mifflin, the ghosts, the haunts, the history. And I think, with you bringing our guest on, I mean, I think that, he's the forefront of really, this fort, the history of it, what's been encountered and everything. I'm very excited to get into that. But before we do get into the highlight of tonight's show, cool, fun article, that I happened to find, which is pretty neat. As a fan of Post Malone, I love his music. I love what he does, but it's kind of cool to, everyone out there, there's always someone you never realize is into the paranormal. And right here, Post Malone visits Utah's Skinwalker Ranch, most studied paranormal hotspot on Earth, and which is pretty cool. So Post Malone has become basically good friends with Brandon Fugel, who bought Skinwalker Ranch about 5 years ago, and took a tour. It took a tour, and I guess he's really into the tech of the research that they're doing there. Like, how are they researching? What are they using for technology? And that's what he wanted to see, Howie.
Yeah, he's super into the paranormal, which is cool to hear. Like you said, every now and then somebody reveals their inner paranormal geek, and here it is. And I like it because it makes it more mainstream. It's cool that he's into that. It's always awesome when a high profile person reveals that they're into this stuff, because there used to be a lot of shame and nobody wanted to talk about it. But here you go, one of the biggest musicians on the planet, big fan, and obviously because of how big he is, he can, he gets to know, he's become really good friends with the guy who owns the Skinwalker Ranch. And not only said that, but he's really, I guess, Post Malone, according to this article on KUTV, good old Channel 2, the Channel 2 news team. They said that he actually is very interested in the technology side, like you.
Yes,
you have so much in common with Post Malone. You're just missing a couple of face tattoos.
I'm thinking of getting them.
I think you should. I mean, you'll have multiple things in common then.
I think I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna start off with high fives right here.
You should get his name.
No, I'm not gonna get his name.
I think
maybe on my lower back or something. I don't know.
You could be like, "What's your name?" And he's like, "Post Malone." I'm like, "Oh, this is weird. I have that tattooed under my eyeball."
That's so weird because it's right here on the side of my neck.
I didn't even know. I never heard of you before. I just like the name.
But like, you know what though? Like, I mean, you hit the nail right on the head. I mean, it just helps kind of mainstream and just legitimize like true interest in that, you know, all levels, all walks of life. Like, there's no shame in being into the paranormal.
Right.
I mean, real things are going on we can't explain.
And I'm
Real things.
Yeah, and also just for anybody that's not familiar with Skinwalker Ranch, it's not the adult version of Skywalker Ranch, right?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I
It
hear
does
Thursday
sound like
nights are pretty wild.
It does sound like the parody.
I think it's like what, 3 miles down from Bunny Ranch?
Yeah, it's right
Or
next to the
something like
bun.
that. It's like 3 or 13 miles. 13
Most
miles.
of the sightings are
They
just
take
bunnies.
Route 69, 13 miles down to
Ayo.
Skinwalker Ranch.
This is our new segment. This is the way we
Right.
start out.
Yeah, our new segment's Dirty Directions.
I always had it.
Welcome to Dirty Directions on POPXP Paranormal.
Whoa.
Hello, man.
Good morning.
But and then if you guys are into, I mean, I like the series on History Channel, The Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch. They will be premiering, so they obviously finished season 3. You can see that on Hulu or the History Channel app. Season 2 is going to be premiering, I believe, May 10th. I apologize, May 10th. Season 2 will be premiering, and it was a pretty freaking crazy show. I don't know if you've seen it, but like some really weird stuff happens here.
It's supposed to be a terrifying place.
It's a terrifying place. Like, I don't know why anyone would even want to be there. But hey, who knows? You know, billionaires are buying this place and doing their own research. So someone's about to find
There's something going on.
If billionaires are like throwing change to buy this property,
there's
something is going on.
Yeah, it's not just rumors. And also, I mean, since this year we found out alien metal was patented by our government, nobody cares.
From the Roswell crash, no one cares because they were just worried about, you know, cancel culture and who's going to be the next president. So everyone's like, hey, they're kind of distracted. Yeah, you know what? The Roswell thing kind of happened, right? Hey, go and vote. And then
it's so fun to live. Yeah, it's so fun to live in Alan Moore's Watchmen.
There you go. Yes. But I think we should jump in to tonight's theme. So without further ado, Howie, please introduce our guest tonight.
Tonight, our guest is somebody that I am lucky to call a friend. His name is Greg O'Brien, and he knows everything about the historic Fort Mifflin located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Greg helps lead tours there. Greg helps the place stay alive. The number one thing when you meet Greg, he really cares about the fort, and he's going to make sure that you learn to care about the fort too, in a good way. You know, I had one of the greatest experiences in my life at this place. It is my favorite haunted location. It is an important part of our history, just without the paranormal part. And he's so full of information and knowledge about this place. And also he is a fantastic paranormal investigator. And he's experienced crazy things himself, of course, being at the fort all the time and all his personal experiences. Just a great person, a true treasure to the paranormal. Please welcome Greg O'Brien.
Greg.
Thank
you.
That
was a heck of an
Did you like that?
My God.
Wow.
He's got my shirt on too.
There you go.
He's 8 feet tall. So he's got there you go.
Hey, Greg, before we jump into Fort Mifflin, let me ask you, man, you know, we talked about it a little bit before the show. I mean, what are your thoughts on Skinwalker Ranch? Are you a fan of the show? Are you curious what's going on there?
Fan of that. And there's another one did you see that, like a Blind Frog Ranch too, that it's right next to the Skinwalker Ranch, and they're dealing with the same stuff, weird things going on. So that whole area. So if you get a chance, check that out. That just finished.
They don't have this cool of a name.
Yeah.
Flying Frog.
Like Welcome to Crying Frog or whatever it is. Blind Frog.
Yeah. Blind Frog, yeah. But yeah, Skinwalker's awesome. I mean, I'd love to get out there.
Do you think there's a mothership underground there or something down there? Because I feel like that's what they kept like insinuating. Like there's something down there, a structure. You know, because like the beams of radio, like it was so weird, like what was going on.
Yeah, when they were shooting things up into the sky, and
that's bad in any movie when that happens. So
yeah,
when there's ever the beam of light, it's something bad's gonna happen. Ghostbusters, Iron Man,
and when that guy on camera that trespassed and was like having convulsions or something, and they thought he was a shapeshifter.
It's crazy. Absolutely. And they're all getting like radiation burn. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But if you guys out there, viewers, if you haven't seen that yet, you guys need to check that out on the History Channel. Seriously,
They
it's
should send those
interesting.
Oak Island guys there to dig it
Ooh,
up.
They'll dig it up. They'll bring their
Have cross.
excavators.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
didn't they go to another place when they're like,
I
I'll
don't
just
know.
go dig at some other place on Oak.
They're like,
Because
"Yeah,
they're
there's
never
nothing
going to
on
find
this island.
anything.
There's nothing
It's so
there."
fascinating. That show's amazing. It's like they're never going to find anything, but I love it.
Oh, it's a
Yep.
great show. It's a great show.
I love the announcer. You know that.
Yeah.
Are they close to finding the treasure?
You've got me hooked.
It reminds you of like the Batman 66 like TV show. Will Batman and Robin get it? Will they find the gold in Riddler's den?
It gets you amped.
It does. And then nothing. Another episode of
Yeah.
like it was just a quarter.
And that's all friendly sounding, and the Oak Island, it's mysterious. And then I remember, because I've been watching a lot of Transformers, the original, it has the creepiest commercial voice for a children's show. And it's like, we'll be right back with another Transformer. It's like for a horror movie. And I'm just like, this guy it's just really disturbing compared to what Transformers was. It was kind of playful. But Greg, speaking of horrific, let's talk about
I thought you were going to say
A Night
playful.
at Fort Mifflin.
Yes.
That's my segue. It's to get people excited. Because the paranormal people love horror, and they love creepy stuff. There's been a ton of history taking place at Fort Mifflin. It's one of our, wouldn't you say, one of our most famous historic sites that maybe most don't know about?
It's true. It's it's a hidden gem. I mean, longest active military fort in United States history. Laid out in 1771 by the British to protect Philadelphia, and then 1775 the Americans took it, and it was during the Revolutionary War. The siege of 1777. You had the guy, they held off 6 weeks, the British. You had about 250 men die, and it was being rebuilt under Adams by the French during the yellow fever epidemic of Philadelphia. So there was a lot of deaths there. And also people don't know there was that little pseudo war between Adams and the French, John.
Mm-hmm.
So there was some French ships anchored right there. They imprisoned a French crew at the fort too. Civil War was a military prison, Union, Confederate, and political prisoners. So World War One, ammunition depot, and World War II, they put anti-aircraft battery guns there to protect the Navy Yard, and then Korean War, it was a depot, a storage depot for the Navy Yard, and then it was deactivated in 54, and then decommissioned 62 and given to the city of Philadelphia. So lots of history, and that's why I think it makes it so unique with the paranormal, because there's layers and layers and layers of history there. And,
Absolutely.
and it just,
when you walk through the gates, I know when you drive up to it, you see it, and it's because it's a fort, it's got this big wall, and when you walk through, you're like in a different time. It feels like, it's just, you feel like, so, and then a plane flies over, because we're so close to the airport. That happened during Ghost Hunters. They filmed there in, I believe, 2008, and that was my first knowledge of the place. I lived in Maryland at the time. And I remember Jay would mention how airplanes, and we noticed that a couple times. You get a lot of airplanes. So recording, you have to be like, that's an airplane. So you just have to do that. But when I went there, it is by far one of the something was going on every minute when I was there.
Yeah,
some paranormal activity. My flashlight kept going off ridiculously to the point where it was interacting. I mean, it was beyond, if you remember that, but we called it Flashlight Buddy. I think I might have brought it up on the show before, but using the mag light trick where you twist it and have to make something turn it on to answer yes or no. This thing was, I could command it. I could move towards it, make it turn off. I could move back. I'd go, "Oh, are you messing with me? Ha ha ha." It would blink with the laugh only. It would tease other people when they would go, "Would you use mine?" And it blinked. And then it wouldn't use it and would only use mine. And, we were able at the end of the night to make everything light up in that one room.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, you're not going to get that everywhere. You're not, I mean, that kind of thing where you have witnesses and you have a whole group to command lights turn on. I mean, that's like, it was ridiculous. Do you feel that as soon as you walk in during the day or mostly at night? Do you feel that a mood changes, or is it always?
It's always, I walk in there and it's just the energy. It's just a different feeling. As soon as you walk, like you say, through that gate, it's just a different feeling. It's just, to me, it's just a really relaxing feeling. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but
I didn't
it's
feel
just,
like scared or any. I was a little freaked out because it kept going to the next place, the same interaction.
right.
I
He
mean
followed
that.
you around.
Yeah. That was disturbing. But you're able to go in there, and like I said, I felt almost every spot was special. One spot I wanted to talk about was the prison. Can you go into a little bit about what's down there, that little area?
Which one? The solitaire or the case?
Yeah, solitary.
Solitary. Yeah. Well, that was, we knew it was there for, from maps and everything, but um, it was originally the powder magazine from 1777.
Okay.
And then when they built the last building that they built, it was called the torpedo magazine. It's a building that they dug like a well, and then they dug a channel out to the Delaware River, and they were thinking they could shoot these torpedoes out and hit boats, but it was built in the 1800s, and once they built it, they figured out it was not going to work, so it never got used for the torpedo magazine. But yeah, there's casemate 11, which it got buried, and then it was rediscovered when the one groundskeeper was doing some yard work and his foot went through the ground, so they excavated it, and it was like an Egyptian tomb. It was airtight. They found
Wow.
the body chambers, eating utensils,
wow.
everything. They had written their names, William Howe, and there was a Bruce Devlin.
That's right.
Walls. All the artifacts went to University of Penn, but we have the original door, and he actually shuns the fort by writing. He actually shuns the fort on writing on the door. But it was used as solitary confinement during the Civil War.
Was that where there's a little almost divide between where you can sit down there?
Yes, there's a little area where the guards would be able to look in and check the prisoners out.
That's where I heard shuffling of feet, and there was nothing.
Yeah, you hear a lot of.
There was footsteps coming at me, and
yeah, you hear the footsteps. Yeah, you hear footsteps in there. I've had stones thrown. I actually was sitting in there, and a brick moved across the floor. It was like, okay,
there's something going on in casemate 11. Which, I mean, if you hear that name, that alone would make you think at night. Casemate 11. Let's go check out casemate 11. It sounds like a movie, and So I experienced. It's one of the first time because my friend was like, there's something coming. Something coming your way, and I was able to go to the flashlight. I'd be like, "Is something coming towards us?" Bright light for yes, and we heard the shove. Yeah, it's like walking towards it. Nothing happened, but you could hear the stones. It's really odd when there's nobody there, and it's making an impression of a foot. There's just, I mean, that's just something. And I didn't know that going in that I'd be experiencing something like that because I've never seen a full body apparition. I've never seen really. I've squinted. Other people have seen shadow people all around at an event, and I'm like, I must be looking in the wrong area. But I had footsteps coming right at me, and we're all seated. Everybody's seated. That's something stepping there. I don't know what it is because we could see the stones. It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's common throughout the fort too. In the casemates, 1 through 5, you'd be in there, and you actually hear I think it would be the guard that was on guard duty, hear him walking down on the bricks and then turning around and walking back and forth. And even in the barracks, you could be sitting in there and all of a sudden footsteps go walking past you. So, I mean, that's common. They're walking around.
Yeah. Do you think you're getting like it's a lot of residual energy?
There's residual and there's intelligent. So yes, there's both of it there. I mean, full bodies. Our most notorious ghost, we call him our tour guide ghost, and he's a Revolutionary War soldier that gives tours. He's people. He's during the day. It's usually when there's only 1 or 2 people in the fort. we're open Wednesday through Sundays, and Wednesdays and Thursdays it's usually no one, a couple people show up.
And he'll be during the day.
Well,
I'll be doing the day, and it's usually over at the Powder Magazine, and these people will come out and say, the tour guide that you have is just incredible. He goes in explicit details of the bombardment, and just goes and just points out everything, and it's like, well, we don't have a tour guide today, or you're the only one in the fort.
I just got chills. Did you?
Yeah,
That's
I got
crazy.
chills because I did the day tour, and I've never been there at night, because when we were in Philadelphia, we went for an anniversary. My wife and I, and she can't stand ghosts, scary things, things like that. But
You brought it to the right place.
Well, she does stuff. She'll sign me up for things and whatnot, and she's a good sport. And
she's probably like, this isn't going to be haunted.
Yeah, well, she won't. She'll sign me up for like day stuff. I'm like, we're not going to find anything during the day. But it was funny because we did the tour and there was only 6 of us, and then we had a tour guide. We were going around and everything, and then they kind of let you kind of just like walk around and do stuff. And like we were walking through, and we didn't have that tour guide experience. But I forget. I was actually trying to find a picture of the building. I think I found it. But we walked in a building, and I know it was like quarters during World War II, because you can tell it was remodeled and everything. And we were hearing like footsteps, my wife and I, and we thought another couple that we kind of befriended walking through the tour was over on the other side, because it was, I don't know if it's like a duplex building. Does that sound familiar to you, Greg?
It probably is the barracks. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the barracks. Yeah. And we heard these footsteps and stuff, and it was perfectly daylight, and you can hear him clear as day. So we were walking over, because she was like, because she was saying the whole time, like, do you want to see if they want to go to lunch with us? And blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, why not? And so then we heard the footsteps. I'm like, you should probably ask them, because we're going to be heading out soon. And we went over, and there was no one there.
Yeah, that's so common in the barracks there. And they like to jiggle the doors.
Oh, yes. The jiggling of the door. That does happen a lot there. You can just experience that. It's just, this is crazy. And you can visit the fort if any of this conversation is making you super interested, and you're looking for something to do, because most of this is outdoors, and they do tours, and they all safety, and they take that into consideration. Plus, you'll be helping out the place. They can go straight to Fort Mifflin's website, right? It's fortmifflin.us, and they can arrange tours.
Range tours. I mean, there's the event page. All the information's there. Yeah, I mean, there's 40 acres total, and the fort takes up. There it is. There you go. And the fort takes up to about 20 acres. That one there, that's a shadow figure. We have our candlelight ghost tours.
Oh yeah, I highly recommend those. Oh
yeah,
sleep with the ghosts.
That bottom picture, we've been there.
Yep, you spend the night. And then coming up May 1st, we have Brian Cano going to be there.
That's really cool. Yeah, Brian Cano is going to be there. What day? May 1st.
May 1st. It's an all-day event. So
wow.
He's going to do lectures, classes, and then there's going to be mini ghost hunts, and then there's a ghost hunt at night for that. But we do our own open investigations also. But yeah, it's the fort is so spread out. It's so
What, you getting scared, Howie?
I just heard it click, dude. I'm not even joking around. That's not my.
Everyone the book behind me.
Flashlight, buddy.
Yeah, I swear, if you see. I'm gonna turn. Usually, the scary story is supposed to come out the end. We forgot to tell you, Greg. We try to tell a scary story to make me freak
story
out.
At the end.
And I was like, I've heard all of Greg's stories. I don't know. I heard something click back here. This sucks. We have this gimmick where I'll have the lights out, and we were like, if you give us 20 likes, I'll keep the lights out next show. And we keep getting 20 likes. So please like the video. You're still watching, which you are, because it's amazing. Click like right there, down there. Is it down there? It's down there.
Click that like button next to the subscribe button.
And please subscribe.
And you want to tap that bell too to get notifications.
Make sure you get notifications. And so if you hit like and we get 20 likes, I keep the light off, and I get freaked out every episode. And usually we were going to ask you to tell a scary story. I don't need to. I just got freaked out. So
it's a freaky thing.
I have plenty.
Why is there clicking in my room? There's nothing back there. I don't like that I live in an old house either.
So
I don't
Greg,
like it.
well, what kind of heat do you have? Is your baby? It's your baseboard? Do you have baseboard heat? You have some copper clicking, expanding?
Yeah, we got like a.
I'm gonna help you out, buddy.
We got
Got radiant.
That little girl
boiler.
behind you may know. She looks like she knows.
Oh, that's
what
my
that
Alice
is.
in Wonderland figure. That's all right.
Yeah,
if
yeah,
she
yeah.
starts popping around, she starts walking.
I'm to call John Zaffis.
There you go.
Yeah, I met him once. He'll hook me up, right?
I think he's here in Connecticut, right? Isn't he in
Oh
Connecticut?
yeah, he's up in Connecticut. Yep.
Yeah,
Great
He
guy.
can make the drive.
He's
Everybody
in my neck of the woods. I'll go.
Yeah.
I'll go grab him for you.
Everybody wants to come to Jersey. That's just what people want to do.
Yeah. So Greg, what sparked the interest and then I would say the loyalty to this to Fort Mifflin?
I was always interested in history, and this area down here in southeast Pennsylvania, with the Revolutionary War, there's a lot here. And when my son was old enough, Kyle, which Howie knows, met.
Great guy.
We, there's the Battle of Brandywine down in Chad's Ford. That was the first September 11th, 1777. That was the beginning of the Philadelphia campaign, and that's Washington lost that. That's when Continental Congress abandoned Philadelphia. And so there's Waynesboro, General Anthony Wayne's homestead. There's Paoli battlefield. Then you got Philadelphia, and then of course Fort Mifflin. So I always make sure we hit every event at the fort with my son, and eventually I got more involved, volunteering, and eventually I got asked to be the paranormal host. So I've been paranormal host for 5 years, but I've been over 20 years at the fort. So
that's amazing.
That's incredible.
So I just love it because people just don't know about the fort and the history. It got nicknamed the Fort That Saved America because it held the British off for 6 weeks, trying to resupply Howe's army in November of 1777, and then Washington was able to skedaddle back to Valley Forge. So
and
everybody knows about Valley Forge.
Yeah, and I like getting to go there because you learn a lot about something maybe you didn't know anything about. Not only, but you're learning about history and everything, and also if you're there for your paranormal investigation, you're gonna get a once in a lifetime experience every time you're there.
There's a very proud feeling though when you walk into that fort. There is what's the other fort I've been through? Fort Ticonderoga. There's whenever you go into these old forts, there's almost like a pride to it because it's kind of they were built to defend our country, and whether the British or the French built these forts or the U.S. The U.S. citizens building it, or if it was taken over. But there is a pride that they're still standing, right? That these forts helped shape the country we live in today, and there's kind of a duty involved there. If the spirits are there, right, and they're intelligent, it kind of keeps things alive a little bit, right? Maybe someday we can hear their stories. Who knows what can be of it. So I think with what you guys do, volunteering and doing the paranormal, is it entertaining? Yes, it's research, but who knows where technology will get someday? And if it continues going on, who knows what stories maybe we can get from these spirits? And
true.
And now that would be true history right there. Now, how active is the fort on a 1 to 10 scale?
There's days that it's off the chart. I always tell people the fort never disappoints. I maybe 1 or 2 times it was quiet, but anytime else, the whole fort can be going nuts, or one area or a couple areas, but it's 99.9%. You're going to experience something there.
Is there anything malicious there? Has anything hurt anyone?
Nothing demonic, nothing negative. No.
No.
We don't allow people provoking or anything like that. Just these guys, they're heroes, and as when it was a military prison, the men that it was just horrific. Those guys were shoved like sardines in casemates, and there was dirt floors or gravel. They slept on the floor. There was one bucket in the room for their waste. They would emptied a bucket in the moat that went around the fort, and they would draw their drinking water right out of the moat.
That sucks. Yeah.
It was just terrific. So a lot of death from, diphtheria and just gastrointestinal and just it was horrific. It was, the civilian prisoners, the Confederates, the Union. I've done some research because it's like you're wondering why political prisoners, why civilians held there, and there were about 100 of them. And there was a group from upstate Pennsylvania. They were called the Fishing Creek Confederacy. They were a bunch of people that were just against Civil War. They were against Lincoln, and they got rounded up. And there were 44 of them thrown in down here in the fort. And you had a group out in Clearfield County, 40 of them thrown into the fort. You had some of the Molly Maguires, if you ever know about the Molly Maguires.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, there was 40 of them thrown down there in the fort too. So, you have the military plus you had those civilians, and it was a horrific conditions. So, it's just, neat to dig in, you try and get a name and try and figure out who these people were. So yeah, paranormal and the history really go together.
Yeah. I just saw this little bit that I was checking out the Wikipedia also, that the rooms, speaking of casemate 11, they probably date from the original construction in 1771.
Yes, that's the original.
Wow.
That was original bomb shelter.
For America, that's super old because we usually tear down things. We don't. If a building is like my house is from 1930s, people. Oh, that's an old house, but that's why you're going to get a lot of history at a place like that. It's still standing, still have the original structures and places and parts. Even with the war,
right?
For the original structure there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, besides paranormal, you get the history. We just had in the fall, what was it? October, we had Don Wildman filming for a new show on the History Channel.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that was all about Casemate 11. And it wasn't about being haunted. It's because it was, from the original 1771 layout. And so looking forward to see what they found. They became ground penetrating radar, LiDAR radar, all kinds of stuff. So it will be hopefully in the fall on the History Channel. So.
Oh, very cool. Now tell us a bit about your experiences there. Because 20 years at the fort, 5 years dedicated to, leading the paranormal investigations and stuff. Tell us some of the things that have occurred, your most memorable moments.
Well, my first night when I was a paranormal host, there was a group that came and I checked them in and got them all organized over at the fort. And we went back with the hospital building, which is outside the fort. That's by the parking lot, the original hospital building. That's where we have our offices and we can hang out. So I go back over there, walk inside, and get 4 bangs on the door. Bam, 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 bam. I'm like, door's open. Unlock. Come on in. Nothing. Another 4 bangs. I said, door's open. I'll be right there. Just come on in. Nothing. So after the 3rd round of bangs, I go open the door. Of course, no one's there. I'm looking outside. We had security cameras. I'm looking at the cameras. There wasn't anybody there. So that night after the group left, they left, I guess, about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm closing up inside, and in the barracks, I closed the one door and I'm walking. I'm inside. I closed the one door inside, and I'm walking to go the other, and 4 bangs on the door, banging again, and go open. No one's there. I close it. He starts banging again, and I just say, "All right, I hear you. I'm just getting ready to get out of here. So, enjoy the rest of the night." So I think they were just testing me out, see what would happen to me, since that was my first overnight by myself there.
Right.
What do you
But
feel with that? Like, were you scared? Were you kind of like apprehensive, or was it just going about your business?
um, there was fear initially. When you're walking 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, around pitch black, and your senses are tingling. But anymore now, they know all of our tour guides, everybody there. They know our names. They call our names. They're helpful. We have the one tour guide, Mary. We think it's always in casemate 11 with her. She's walked down the stairs and somebody escorts her down. She feels somebody grab her elbow and escorts her down the stairs.
Oh, to help her,
Helping her down. And the one
Yeah.
time she was going down and she
It's a
tripped.
gentleman ghost.
It is a gentleman. One time she was going down and she tripped and it caught her. Kept her.
Wow. See,
That's
that's
incredible.
what you need around the house too.
Yeah.
Help me around. My
Yeah.
gosh. And that's such a welcome change from the stories you hear about ghosts that touch where they're scratching and stuff and
Yeah.
pulling
No, we don't
hairs.
get.
Well, what's more entertaining, Howie?
A gentleman. As I'm older now, I would like.
Yeah, we don't
somebody to
get-
stop
I would
me
like
from
a
calling.
gentleman.
Yeah, no
Oh,
scratching or anything. I mean, there is physical contact. People do get touched. Some females, they might. We've had children die at the fort, and they
It just
feel
took a
little
dark
hands.
turn. It just took
Yeah,
a dark turn. They were great.
get their hair stroked. So, no, I've seen full bodies, shadows. Get a good EVPs, AVPs. That they yell the name, or you get hey. One time I was just walking through by myself and I hear attention, and so I
No
stopped.
way.
I saluted and kept going. Because excuse me, I didn't know.
Yeah.
So
That's
full
wild.
bodies. I've seen Civil War full bodies. I mean, just explicit detail. The
This
hat,
kind of stuff you'd
uniform.
think
What's
would.
it like
Oh, wow.
seeing a full body apparition? Is it like you and me? Is there a glow to them? Describe,
The ones I've seen are just been normal. There are the ones that are just you see a full figure, but you just no details. But other ones, like I say, the Civil War. I mean, the hat. He had his backpack on. I mean, he was walking out towards the hospital building, and of course, I saw him, and I'm just in awe, staring, and I'm not taking out my phone to get a picture or anything. I'm just staring, watching him walk.
So full
I
regalia.
don't think there's enough time when that
Yeah.
happens.
No,
So full out. You just like a person,
just a person. I
not
mean,
see through or anything.
explicit details of everything. His gun, his belt, the canteen. It was explicit details. It was just.
I have a weird question. So, like, whatever ambient light there is around, is it reflecting off them? Like, is light reflecting off the belt buckle and the stuff you're describing? Like, is there
When I saw
actually
him,
a
it was
solid-
at night. I didn't see any reflection. It was just, but the moon, it was just. I mean, to just see the figure. There wasn't any reflection. Now we do have a figure, of course, a woman in white that's been showing up a while, and she's just a woman, but just completely like you would think as a ghost, transparent and completely white.
With the people that see the daytime soldier, they think it's somebody giving a tour.
Yeah,
So they're interact. Does he answer?
He interacts. He's very intelligent. Just completely interacts.
Oh my god!
I would love to experience.
Can you imagine?
That.
Yeah,
because I want to know like what his voice sounds like. Is he familiar with today's technology? Do you feel like you're like on a period tour where they pretend they don't know like what a cell phone is or a computer is,
like,
or is he like, hey, take out your iPhone, take a photo of that, huh, Cheryl? Thanks for coming on the tour, and then he vanishes.
He's talking about your iPhone.
Yeah, I mean, I keep going around. But it's usually, I'm always going, is anybody here for a tour? Can I get a tour?
Yeah. Oh, trying to get him.
I'm trying to get him, but, he hasn't come and give me a tour. I mean, I think I've seen him. I've seen the Revolutionary Soldier, but.
Could he be a tour guide that slipped and fell? And now he's stuck there?
Well, My theory is during the siege you did have deserters, and when Philadelphia was then, when the British left Philadelphia, there was a group of deserters that were captured, and they were public hung in Market Street. So I'm thinking maybe the tour guide, or I mean, his punishment from deserting the fort is to spend eternity at the fort.
Give him a tour
as a tour guide.
As a tour guide, just going exclusively.
I know there's really no relation, but I just, with how much you do there and how often you're there, and the ghosts, they know you. I just keep envisioning like the old Looney Tunes, Sam and Ralph, the sheepdog and the wolf. Where it's like, morning, Ralph, morning, Sam, check in, and then it's like, all right, we get in the roles. I'm gonna try to steal a sheep. You're gonna stop me. It's like, all right, you're gonna be the ghost now. I'm a ghost hunter. Let's do this.
I'm gonna bang on the door.
Like, have a good night, Sam. Have a good night, Ralph.
Every time when I go, anytime I'm there, I'm there like 6 Saturdays in a row. We're busy with paranormal groups, so I'll be there through the rest of the month every Saturday night with the paranormal group. But before they come, I walk around the fort and I talk to them and tell them we got guests coming, and you can be, make sure you're active. I tell them, you can be, just behave yourself, nothing aggressive, make sure these people want to come and talk with you.
We got a show tonight, guys. You got to step it up. Let's knock on those doors. Help the ladies down the steps.
A pep talk.
Maybe walk across the field. Keep it simple.
I give them the pep talk.
Got paying customers. So everybody can just go right to the Fort Mifflin website. It's fortmifflin.us, and they can sign up for an investigation and that event on May 1st if they'd like to. Guys, if you're listening to this and you like it, please head to that website and check it out. You can hang out with Greg, and you can hang out with the most polite ghost I've ever heard of. It will help you down the steps to Casemate 11. And I think it's I can't recommend it enough. Like I said, it's one of the greatest times I've ever had, period. I mean, the most interaction, the most fun. It's, and it's always a pleasure hanging out with Greg. I mean, I just enjoy it. It's one of the best things ever. Man, I'm putting you over a lot. I might need a beer. You owe me a beer next time.
Well, I mean, the first time Harry and I met was at Fort Mifflin.
Yes.
Yep.
When I was followed. Yeah, he helped guide me through, right?
Yeah, you got followed over to the Sally Port.
Yeah. Well, at least somebody liked me.
Yeah. Well,
it's good to be wanted.
Yeah, I have the one that follows me called the Judge, and I finally figured out. Yeah, the Judge. He likes to drop the F-bomb, and
let's talk about this. This is before we wrapped up. Maybe this will be the creepy story for the night. This is Greg's creepy
You're already
story.
Starting off with the Judge.
I know. Here it is.
Judge.
His name is the Judge. Greg, explain the Judge to the audience.
Judge would be political prisoner. Now, I finally think I figured out who it is. It was a Major Jacob Wilhelm. He was a judge that was imprisoned by Lincoln at the fort, and he was, I think, he was 62 years old. But he's got a gruff voice, and he likes to drop the F-bomb. I always tell people, if you pick up a EVP or you hear somebody yelling the F-bomb, that's the Judge. He greets me by F-U Greg or Greg F-U.
He'll actually say your name. Yeah.
Yes. Actually says my name. I've seen him physically. People have seen him with me. One time I'm standing in Casemate 5 and there was a group of people there, and I said, he's right behind me, isn't it? And they're all, yes. And when I go to turn, he ran out.
Nile's getting
out of the casemate, and everybody just stood, sitting there with their mouth open, like as he ran out. Females, they get the B word or the W word.
Guy's a real charmer. He's not the guy helping you down the stairs. No, he's not the
helper down the stairs. No. So,
he's a dick. Yeah.
He's not very. He's a grumpy miserable person because, and I can't blame him. I was just talking with them Saturday, once I said, hey, I understand, that you were just rounded up and thrown in there. I mean, he was a sitting judge out in Clearfield County, and he was a major from the Pennsylvania militia. So,
what led you to discover he's the judge for him to get the name? Like,
he identified as a judge, and so we always just called him Judge, Judge, Judge. And I knew about the Fishing Creek conspiracy people. There's a list of the 44 that were there, but there was no judge. And then I just discovered it was, if you want, there's a book. It's called The American Bastille. It lists everybody that Lincoln locked up. There's 2 books of it. And there's the whole section of the group from Clearfield County out there in Pennsylvania. And that's how I found Judge Major, Jacob Wilhelm.
So he's still holding a grudge. The judge is
still
holding
holding
a grudge.
I would if he was wrongfully imprisoned. I mean, he's a judge, and if he was a political prisoner, right?
He doesn't
and lost his life there. Who else would? I would be freaking pissed.
Right.
Have you ever tried doing like a spirit box or anything there to try to get a conversation going with him?
Yes. And that's when he drops the F-bomb all the time. He just does, he just doesn't want to really talk about anything. So I'm hoping now that I've identified. I just did it in the last month or so with that we can get a better conversation.
This is breaking news.
And he acknowledged that. You asked him and he said, yes, I'm the judge. Or
yes, last I was there, it was just last Saturday. We had an open investigation.
Breaking news.
Get a breaking news thing here.
He was he was acknowledging that it was him. So
wow.
Yeah. So I'm hoping he won't be such a thank you.
Well, we got to get Nile there so he can be told F off by this guy.
Well, I'm hoping he won't be so pissed off anymore.
I swear. Oh, my wife's out there. It got me.
Your wife's sitting there on the couch like this on her phone on TikTok.
She's doing like
such a
creepy,
baby.
very sound app. Because I'm just like, if something happens out here, it'll click behind me. So it's like, I've just been trying to ignore clicks, but she turned up that light, and I was like, we need some light in this house. Come on.
Yeah.
You have the glow of your monitor.
It's
one of the best experiences I had was over at the Sally Porch. I was sitting. It was the 2 of us in the Sally Port as you're walking. The one on the right, I was sitting on the bottom bunk, and we were seeing some shadow figures out in the hallway. And then we asked them to come in. They came in, and then everybody's equipment it was just 2 of us. The equipment all went off, and I felt something climb over me to get to the top bunk. And then eventually it climbed back down over me to get off and left. So that was a pretty cool experience.
That's a cool experience.
Yeah.
There's crazy stuff.
This
place is one of a kind. So everybody that's into the paranormal, if you're around the area or you want to make a trip, like I said, Fort Mifflin is a fantastic place. And plus you get to hang out with Greg if he's there.
Yeah, I'm there for all the paranormal stuff. I mean, even if you just want to come out and walk, there's 40 acres. We got a nature trail. We just cleared out this upper battery that was just added on in the 1800s, extending down the river, and
it's beautiful.
There's plenty of wildlife, deer, fox. You
like just seeing the history there too.
Yeah, the history is incredible. We just discovered too a couple of muzzles from the World War II anti-aircraft batteries as we were clearing some of the area out in the back with the woods. So we have 2 of the muzzles from the World War II anti-aircraft guns.
Oh, cool.
So
there's probably so many treasures that are still hidden there.
Yeah.
Oh, there is.
Gonna find.
There is.
And the greatest treasure ever is Greg, though.
We have the Army Corps of Engineers next to us, and when they dredge, they're finding stuff all the time and giving it to us. So we just updated our display room. We have a bunch of the spikes that the Americans sunk across Delaware River to hold the British off from 1777. And they dredge up cannonballs and all kinds of stuff and always return them to us. So
Very cool.
we're always getting new stuff in there.
That's awesome.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, if anyone's interested, we'll have the link to the website in the description of this episode. And yeah, feel free if you're heading down to the area and you want to go on a good paranormal investigation, sign up for one of the, what day you have, daytime, overnight, all different stuff on the website. So,
Right.
Pick your poison. Hopefully Greg will be there and you'll get a tour you'll never forget.
Yeah.
Yep. I like giving good ghost tours.
There you go.
And make sure to go to Casemate 11 and meet the judge outside.
Yes. He's
not going to be there. Yeah. He won't go to Casemate 11. You get a nice little gentle step.
Nice gentle in Casemate 11. Yeah.
And footsteps. You'll see your footsteps.
And stones moving.
And then when you go back up, you get called a bitch by the judge. Pleasant.
Or he told you to F off on your way out. Don't F in return. And if any of you viewers out there had a great experience at the fort, please give a description of what happened to you that you experienced in the comments below, and make sure to click that like button, subscribe, and share as well. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. This was an awesome episode talking about Fort Mifflin, and I got to get out there myself once everything clears up and we're all free to travel, like normal. We definitely got to get out there and do a hunt.
Absolutely. Yeah, I want to do a paranormal hunt there. It'd be great. We haven't done that yet.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Definitely.
That's what you should do.
Yeah.
That's where it should be, Howie.
Yeah. It's calling me.
It's calling.
It's saying,
then we'll go eat some cheese sticks.
Hey, bitch, come ghost hunt.
Come effing ghost hunt, you bitch. All right, gentlemen, have yourself a great night. Everyone stay safe out there, stay scared, and we will see you all on the next POPXP Paranormal. Hey everyone, thank you for joining us on POPXP. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button and also click the bell for notifications when we go live and we upload some awesome new content. Also, don't forget to head on over to Twitter and follow us at the POPXP and over on Instagram at the POPXP. Thanks again everyone, and we'll see you soon.